Welcome back to the Lafayette. Oh. The Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku. Here we talk about all the food happenings around Acadiana. If you like food, tune in. You might learn something new. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about my chocolate cake experience for my birthday. I decided to try my hand at making a chocolate cake, and it didn't look pretty, but it tasted great. Joining tonight as guest co-host is Terry Dugas. Thank you so much for joining again, Terry.
Hi.
You always fill in a pinch, and I appreciate it.
I hope everybody's not tired of hearing my voice.
No, not at all. We love having you on the show.
Aw, thanks.
All right. So you tasted the chocolate cake.
Yes, and it was amazing.
Okay, it just didn't look that pretty.
No, but I finished it in about 5 minutes, so it was really good.
For those that follow me on social media, they can see the picture of it. Let's just say it was a very long day. I enjoyed baking the cake. I didn't realize it was so easy to make a chocolate cake, in theory. But one thing that I learned is that you have to make sure the pans are cool enough before you flip them on the rack.
Otherwise it comes crumbling
because it came apart. And so I sent a picture to my pastry friends, and I was like, what did I do wrong? And they were like, oh, you didn't let it get cool enough. And so that's what happened. And also, I thought I had cake pans, and apparently I didn't. So I had to go to the Dollar Tree. Shout out to the Dollar Tree for emergency cake pans. But they were on the smaller side. So really, the cake should have been 3 tiers and not 2. And I filled them to the tippy top. So they also bubbled over into the oven, which made like a smoky mess. But they were delicious. That frosting was amazing.
Yeah, that frosting was
it was a chocolate mocha mascarpone frosting. And
delicious.
I think that's the only kind of frosting that I'm going to make from now on. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was delicious. I have a lot left. I'm going to be bringing it to work tomorrow.
Just wish I had some coffee to go with it.
Yeah, really that's good. What I actually had cake for breakfast this morning, and I did have coffee with it. So I can tell you that it was delicious.
Yeah, it was really good.
Okay, so hot off the presses, Blanchard's Barbecue is going to be taking over the Urbano's taco spot on Pinhook. They're finally getting a brick and mortar. I am super stoked about that.
Me too. Their brisket is so good.
Okay, so they go to New Iberia a lot. So
yeah,
do you get to?
But once again, I'd never see them until it's too late. A coworker went and got food from them like one time, and it was amazing. It was so great. But it's one of those things of I love and hate food truck and food trailers and all that, because if you're not right there where they are, sometimes you can't get to them. So I'm super excited for a brick and mortar store that I can go in and sit down and enjoy all my food. It's going to be great. I'm so excited.
I'm hoping that they're going to be serving breakfast, because if you've been listening to the radio show, I voted them the best biscuit in Acadiana.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They have an amazing biscuit that I would go to the farmer's market on Saturday just specifically to get it. And so I'm hoping that they're going to be doing, a barbecue. I want a barbecue Benedict. So I want pulled pork, their barbecue sauce, their biscuit, a runny egg, and then a hollandaise sauce all over it. Let's make that happen. Actually, they have a cheese sauce that you can get on it that I normally get on it. The cheese sauce or hollandaise.
I'll take either or.
I just made your first brunch menu item. You're welcome, Blanchard's Barbecue. They have these festival fries that they usually have for Festival International. I've had them once, but it's their poutine. So it's I think they do a zesty fry, and then it has the pulled pork, and then cheese. It just looks delicious. Yeah. I haven't. And their macaroni and cheese is good too.
Yes, I had the macaroni and cheese. I've had the brisket, and that was it. But it was amazing. It was so good. And people, even if you go on their Facebook, that's the number one thing people talk about is
the macaroni and cheese
and the brisket. I've never seen the biscuits, but apparently the biscuits are
amazing.
So good. I'm just super excited about them setting up somewhere.
I'm excited to see a food truck be so popular that it expands into a brick and mortar.
It's going to be awesome.
And so, so
you guys go out and support
excited.
them. Like, go over there and plop yourself down and have some good food.
Speaking of birthday treats this past week, I did not know that the bread pudding from Zia's was so amazing.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
So you've never had it either?
I didn't even know they had bread pudding until you said something about it on Facebook, and I was like, well, I need to get over there. Apparently, I'm missing out.
So I don't like bread pudding because I feel like it's one of those items that for restaurants that don't have a pastry chef, they have like 3 desserts. One of them's bread pudding, one of them's a cheesecake, and then one of them's probably like a brownie with an ice cream on top or something like that. Like it's really like we put no effort into our desserts, but somebody wants something sweet, so we got to have something. So, and we're in the South, so we're gonna have bread pudding. Not a super fan of it. So they said they were gonna give me some bread pudding. I was like, okay. I had actually told my coworker who loves bread pudding, I was like, you can totally have it.
Yeah, because it's delicious.
Well, apparently it's like a sweet potato bread pudding. So not only does it have like the bread pudding components, but they put roasted sweet potato in with it as well. And so it got to me and it's like this, it was a huge hunk. It was full of pecans and it was still warm. You put the rum sauce on top. It was so delicious. I was like, I kept taking bites and she was like standing there waiting for it. And I was like, wait a second. Like, I just want another bite. Like, I did not know that this bread pudding existed.
Yeah, me neither.
And I'm very upset that I have gone this long dining at Zia and not had this bread pudding before.
Too. I mean, generally I never can really make it to dessert at Zia. So next time I'm gonna have to get something like super small, so I am still hungry and can have dessert because apparently I need to try this.
So let's just recap about how awesome Zia is. Okay, hummus. They have really great hummus.
Amazing.
Thai ribs, corn grits. You cannot go and not get corn grits. And then now they have this sweet potato bread pudding that I'm gonna have to add to the list. So Zia is a magical place. It continues to be. They always have waits on the weekend. This is why.
Yeah, so good.
It was delicious. All right, we are going to take our first break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking Hardy Party with Suzanne Hebert. So come back to us. It is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku. And joining me tonight as guest co-host is Terry Dugas.
Hi.
And joining us now is Suzanne Craig, Executive Director of Camp Encore. And she's going to be on tonight to talk about the Hardy Party. And I apologize that I got your last name wrong.
Oh, that's no problem.
Okay. So for anyone who's not familiar, let's talk about what Camp Encore is.
So, Camp Encore started in 1985, and we are a camp for children with heart defects. We also have a camp that's about 6 days in the summer, and it's an overnight camp. So the kids come, and we do typical camp activities like horseback riding, swimming, sports, which is non-contact sports. Obviously, kids with heart defects can't get hit in the chest. So we have a very special program. We have heart class. The kids dissect a cow's heart. They learn about their own heart condition, and they talk about what it's like growing up with one. And it's just a great experience for someone who has been denied a lot of typical childhood activities. So we offer that. We also have a weekend family camp that we just had in January, and that's for the kids, their siblings, and caregivers. And we also have adults that come now that were born with a congenital heart defect. And we've started this awesome monthly support group for our kids. They don't have to be campers. They just have to have a heart condition. And while the kids are doing an activity, we have a parent and caregiver group as well.
So part of this fundraising is the Hardy Party, which is happening this Friday.
It is. We're super excited. It's our 8th annual Hardy Party, and we're just so pleased with how much it's grown and changed over the years. It will be at Vermilionville again from 6 to 10, and it's just going to be an awesome night. We have 16 different restaurants that are coming out and bringing food samples. We have the band on call.
Yeah, let's talk about this band for a minute. So this isn't your typical band.
Right? Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I haven't had the chance to hear them yet, but I have heard so many great things about them. So On Call is a band that's made up of local physicians. And apparently they're great. People love to go and listen to them. They have a big following. You know, we've been getting a lot of Facebook feedback because of the band. And so we're thrilled to have them with us this year. And it's really neat that the local, physicians are supporting a medical camp like this. So we're excited to have them with us.
So I found out about it at the Hardy Party 3 years ago when you guys asked me to be one of the judges because y'all were having judges at the time. I went, I had so much fun. There's different variety of food from all the restaurants around Acadiana, which is nice. And the thing that I liked the most is the wine glasses that are available only at this event.
Right.
And so let's talk a little bit about the wine and beer steins too. Wine glasses and beer steins.
Yeah. So we have Bruce Odell's a local potter and he throws them for us. And, we have Pottery Alley who gets involved and they help with everything too, firing and glazing. And so you can buy a homemade beer glass for $20 and you get a ticket for, 2 refills of beer. And you also get wine glasses. And it's kind of a signature part of the event. I think people really come just to buy the beer and wine glasses.
Me. That's me. I collect one each year.
And last year we had some guest judges, and they even voted the beer glasses honorable mention.
Yeah.
So it's really fun.
Speaking of the wine, too, it's a special wine is served for the event as well.
Yeah, so there's a wine called Colby Red, and it was made by Daryl Groom, he's a winemaker through Treasury Wine Estates. And his son, Colby, asked him if they could make a wine together, and so they did. And Colby asked him if they could sell it, and then if they could give the profits to heart charities. And Colby has a heart condition himself.
Oh, wow.
And so it's called Colby Red. It's great. You can, it's just a really nice wine. So they are our wine sponsor. They give us, they give us cases of wine, and they also help sponsor the event. And we're excited. They've been doing it for several years, and
it's a very good red blend, people out there. It's delicious. So the wine and the wine glasses, yes. Lafayette Food Junkie, vote of approval. I love them. And it's also very family friendly. It's like lots of activities for the kids. What are some of the activities for the kids this year?
So this year we have, Camp On Care is going to have a booth, so we'll have some games outside for the kids. Tanya Felgu, who owns the Artists Co-op, is going to do caricatures again. We're going to have Oasis belly dancing studio. So they'll have a tent and you can go out and learn how to belly dance. They'll also do a performance. And Spa Maison is coming back again. Last year they did nail polish for the little girls and hair braiding. And this year they have something for the guys too. So there's some pampering stuff going on. I'm not sure. Yeah. So
have some wine and get pampered.
Exactly.
Sounds
it's
like
perfect.
Perfect night to me.
And then there's also going to be silent and live auction items. Do we know what some of those items might be that we can kind of tease?
Yeah, we've got, we have lunch with the mayor at Charlie G's. So you can, bid on that. And,
fancy.
It'll be super fun. We have 4 passes to Disney, 4 one-day hoppers. We have a hunching trip that's available. Lots of amazing jewelry that some of it's just handmade and lots of art. We've got some really cool art pieces and trips and, a lot of interesting things. And there's something for everybody's budget, which we like to have. So.
And you said 16 participating restaurants. I do want to mention that Bread and Circus is one of the participating restaurants. So this is your opportunity to go out and check out a James Beard nominated chef's restaurant at this event while supporting a good cause. So if you always wanted to know what it was like to eat at a James Beard nominated chef's restaurant, here's your chance. Like, go, if you can't make it to the restaurant, you can go out there to check it out. Also, are they going to be doing somebody's going to be doing char-grilled oysters?
Yeah. So, Half Shell's coming out. They're going to bring their pit and they're going to be char-grilling oysters. We'll have kettle corn out there making fresh kettle corn.
Oh, yeah.
Which that was a big hit last year, too, with the judges.
It was.
You can't go wrong with kettle corn.
No, you can't.
It was delicious.
Wine, too.
It's the best stuff ever.
Olivia Pope.
So you're buying your ticket, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying.
We have Rusted Rooster, who I think was one of the winners last year, and they're bringing their chicken biscuits again. Thank goodness, because that was a huge hit. We've got Black Cafe, Rufino's. The list goes on. Johnson's, Boucanier.
Zorba's is also going to be one of the
Right,
participating
yeah.
restaurants this year. Were voted like best restaurant in Lafayette by, I believe, Yelp.
Really?
Or something like
I didn't
that.
know that.
Yeah, one of those big things. Or MSNBC, something big and national. They were voted number one restaurant in Lafayette.
I mean, the pitas are good.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
they're
delicious.
delicious.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
And I tried to tell Moose, the owner, that it was supposed to be sample sizes, and I feel like he's going to be coming with a feast because he only knows how to feed large amounts of food. And I kept trying to tell him, you don't have to feed everyone. It's just like sample sizes. And so who knows what he's coming with.
Well, I know he's bringing chicken gyros, and he's bringing some, several different things. He gave me the list, and I said the same thing, and he said, but it's for kids. So,
yeah,
he has a huge heart. And
well, it's great that everybody
exciting.
wants to support you guys. That's really cool and really important.
It's really exciting. We've got a following, and so it's a great event. And tickets are $35 for adults and $10 for kids. Children under 6 are free. So you can go to the Camp on Cur Facebook page and buy them there. You can buy them at Vermilionville, at the door. You can go to the heartcamp.com is our website. So you should be able to get some information on there on how to get tickets.
So people can go the day of the event and purchase tickets, but we want to kind of encourage them to purchase ahead of time if they can.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely. We kind of want to gauge how much food to have. And so, yeah, and we're going to do this year's everybody. When you get there, you'll get a ticket book, and you'll have a ticket for each of the vendors.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah.
All right. And so where can people go again to get more information or for tickets?
They can go to Camp on Cor, our Facebook page. They can go to heartcamp.com is our website. You can call the camp office at 233-8437 or just show up at Vermilionville on Friday at 6 o'clock.
All right. Thank you so much for joining tonight.
Thanks for letting me be here.
All right. We're going to take a break and we're going to come back more with Terry. So come back to us. It is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
She puts the wow, yum into words. It's the Lafayette Food Junkie herself on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku, and we've been talking with Terry Dugas tonight. Yep. So are you getting your tickets to the Hardy Party?
I'm really, really interested in going
It's
to
super
this.
fun. And I've started a tradition now that each year I get another wine glass.
Yeah.
So
I didn't know, you never mentioned that they did the beer glasses.
Yeah.
Thanks,
they're like a little bit bigger. And some people were actually buying the beer glasses to put their wine in because it was bigger. And then some people, and I did this last year at the end of the event, I bought bottles of wine. Yeah. Like this lady bought a whole case of wine at the end. So yeah, that's kind of cool. The first year I went, I bid on so much stuff and then I thought I didn't win, but I did. So I ended up with a lot of stuff. But it's cool and it's super fun and I love that it's kid friendly too. So it makes it really nice.
For a good cause, so that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so I'm about to say something that may be controversial, but I don't care. I tried the cauliflower tater tots that you can find in your frozen food section. Yeah. I think they're Jolly Green Giant.
Yeah, they are.
And they were delicious.
Yep,
I think that I may like them better than regular tater tots.
Whoa. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. But they are really good.
Okay. This was my whole thing. So regular tater tots, if you fry them, they're so greasy. It holds so much grease.
That's a beautiful thing. I don't know what you're calling it.
It makes me a little sick. It's a little too much grease.
Tiffany, you're breaking my
If you bake them, they're soggy.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So the nice thing about the cauliflower tater tots is you don't fry them, you bake them. And they were crispy on the outside and ooey gooey cauliflower-ness on the inside.
They're okay. Like I said, they're okay. They're good. I really want to try to see there's that. Have you ever had the casserole, like like
the tater tot casserole. I have not,
like breakfast casserole,
but I've wanted to try
delicious.
I actually wanted to do something like that with the cauliflower tater tots.
Yeah, and that's what I was getting to. Is I really want to try it out and see how the cauliflower like would hold up with that.
I was gonna be making like taco bowls this week, like just the meat and beans or whatever. Yeah. And I'm really thinking about now like doing the cauliflower tater tots and like putting the taco stuff on top of it.
Doesn't Taco Bell have like a potato?
Oh yeah, they're French fries. I had that today. It was
the
$5 box.
Fries.
$5 box is where it's at.
Of course, we mentioned our Taco Bell.
I know I don't think the last episode that we hosted, we talked about Taco Bell. So
I don't remember.
We need to make up for it.
Yeah, we do.
But their $5 box right now has so I tried the fries with like the meat and the cheese.
Yeah, the fries supreme.
I wasn't a fan.
Really?
I didn't. I like nacho supreme better.
You have to do it. You have to do the fries supreme, but here's what you do. Here's the secret.
Okay.
You got to put the Diablo sauce on top. Change your life. Now, that Diablo sauce is hot, so if you're not into like really spicy things, don't do it. But that's a pro tip, I'm telling you.
But I had just the fries with the cheese sauce to dip today because that's what's in the $5 box. That was delicious.
Oh, yeah. I love the seasoning on those fries. I don't know what's going on with that. Like, I mean, once again, I understand that Taco Bell is not a high quality meal and all of that.
But for $5.
But when it's the end of the week and you have to make it, it's a Friday.
It was literally all I ate today, too, was that $5 box.
No, Taco Bell, it comes in clutch.
I had chocolate cake for breakfast. I had a $5 box for lunch. I'm probably not eating dinner.
Sounds like an amazing...
The only thing about the cauliflower tater tots that I have to mention is that they still do have a lot of carbs. So if you're watching your carb content, I think like 6, which I was like, who eats 6 tater tots? A 5-year-old? But I did when I made it. 6 tater tots has like 10 grams of carbs. Wow. So if you ate like an adult sized version, which is probably half the bag, you're probably potentially still over your carb limit for the day. Yeah. But I remember when I bought them, I looked at the nutritional value compared to regular tater tots because I was like, sometimes things are like fake healthy and it's not. And look, these aren't healthy. I'm going to say it, but they are better for you than the potato version of the tater. They were lower in calories, they were lower in fat, and they did have a lot less carbs. Yeah. So there are differences. Now, someone told me that the broccoli and cheese tater tot was also good, and I opted not to get that one because it had more calories, fat, and carbs than the cauliflower one. But somebody said that one was good too. I think it's the bread.
Yeah. I mean, like I said before we got on air, it's so cool to see like Walmart and Super One and all these places getting more like, vegetable based adaptations of things that we normally have. Because I mean, now you can buy bags of cauliflower rice, like frozen cauliflower rice and stuff like that.
Let's talk a minute about how I hate cauliflower rice. I'm like so over it. Over it. I remember when I started this diet, I was like, yeah, cauliflower rice, it's great. It's not that bad. And then pretty much like my 5th or 6th time having it, I was like, I hate cauliflower rice. I want regular rice. Yeah. And then last weekend when I judged the gumbo cook-off, I had regular rice and I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it's a piss poor stuff.
But some of my followers told me to fry it.
Yeah.
And that if you fry the cauliflower rice, it's better. I will definitely try that. I've been steaming it in the bag. Like if you buy it frozen, you just steam it in the bag.
Kind of crisp it up a little bit. Yeah, it's really like it's not a rice substitute. I hate when people say that. I'm just like it's something that can absorb somewhat a gravy, at times, or I don't know. It's fine. It serves a purpose. So
2 things that I'm going to be making soon is I did find this cauliflower mac and cheese recipe, and it's basically cauliflower with like a macaroni and cheese sauce on it. That looked really good. And then I saw this recipe for Alfredo sauce, and I was like, I didn't realize Alfredo sauce was this easy to make. It is. Like, it's stupid easy. Do not buy it in the jar. It's really easy to make. And if you make it, it's keto, low carb friendly, as opposed to if you buy it in the store, it may have like more sugars and stuff in it. And I wanted to do like a roasted Brussels sprout and then saute some chicken and kind of like mix it in the Alfredo sauce. So it's almost like a chicken Brussels sprout Alfredo. Like, I feel like that'll be really good.
That does sound really, really good. I mean, I like very crunchy greens. So like Brussels sprouts and cabbage and stuff like that. So anything with those in it, I'm good. I'm ready to
see. And other people were telling me to use angel sliced, like super thin cabbage.
Yeah.
Instead of the rice, because they were like, I hate cauliflower rice too. Check this out. Yeah. And they said, but I'm wondering if you cook it or if you do it raw.
I think like you can cook it, but I think you have to add it last. Like it has to be like a last step kind of thing to maintain that kind of crunch to it. Because I mean, you know how cabbage is. Like if you smother it's
going to be like nothing. Yeah.
Because I mean, to make smothered cabbage, you need so many heads of cabbage to get really so much like cooked product. So, add it in at the end, and it should be all right.
Okay, I'll have to test that out to see. And then speaking of other low carb treats, I tried the sous vide eggs at Starbucks this week, and they were delicious. The bacon and Gruyere. Not a big fan of sous vide things because I feel like it's just a fancy way of saying boiled meat. Like that's literally what I think of when anyone says sous vide. I'm like, it's boiled meat and it's kind of flavorless and like I don't get it. Like I'm not a big sous vide fan. These sous vide eggs are fantastic.
Yeah, they're really good. I wish I would have known. Nobody warned me about how hot they come.
Yeah, they're
because
super
I've gotten
hot.
breakfast sandwiches from Starbucks. And when they hand it out, normally it's still pretty warm, but it's manageable to eat. But those, I had to wait maybe 10, 15 minutes before I could even start to eat one because they were molten hot. So if you get them, tomorrow morning on your way to work, just be warned, they are delicious, but they can be deadly. So
yeah, get them. Don't eat them in the car because you will have a wreck because of your mouth will be on fire. Exactly. You'll end up spitting it out while you're driving. Not a good idea. Just get it, bring it with you to work. Maybe even wait 10 to 15 more minutes.
Get to your desk. Maybe bust out that tiny little paper plate that you've got in that drawer you never access, and then put them on there. Just wait a second. And then once they cool down a little bit, kind of put your finger on there, tap it, and then enjoy. It's delicious.
It was also announced this week that McDonald's has switched to fresh beef for their quarter pounder with cheese. Someone had actually told me this the week before last that they were doing it but didn't tell anyone really.
That's what they said in the little announcement. They said that they had already started doing that, and then they said 20% of all of their meat products, right?
As of last week, the Lafayette one had it, but they hadn't announced it. And then this week they announced that they were doing it. It's the quarter pounder with cheese. I think it's eventually going to go to other things. I don't know how I feel about this.
Yeah, I kind of want to
I kind of want to taste it. I'm tempted to go to McDonald's after the show here to taste it out, but I've met my fry quotient for the day, so I can't. I feel like I can't have a quarter pounder with cheese without fries, right? So I'm gonna have to wait on that.
I could never do a quarter pounder. There was always too much meat in there for me.
No lie, all my weight gain came from college when I was going to UL, and I ate quarter pounder with cheese, extra value meals 3 times a week.
Really?
That's where all my weight came from.
I have a really interesting story about quarter pounders too. Real quick, it's not even that detailed. My Spanish teacher in high school, freshman year, we would go to McDonald's and pick up quarter pounders with cheese and fries and a Coke and bring it to her. And whenever you did that, instead of class, she would just sit there and gossip with you for the hour.
What?
Yeah. So if
that
you
was the key to
that was the key.
Not
if
having
you
class?
Didn't bring her anything, we were having class. But there were those certain days where we'd walk across and go get her some McDonald's and bring it back. And we just sit there and coast.
Okay, so why didn't y'all just get together as a class and each person pick a different day to go get the quarter pounder with cheese?
Well, because some days, she'd be like, no, we're having class today. So we had to kind of save it for those, harder days when we didn't want to do anything. It was a special kind of treat. It didn't work every single time, but a good 85% of the time we'd bring it. Usually we try to wait till the end of the week, so she's not as inclined to do any work. Or if we had a test coming up and we wanted to try to kind of get maybe some answers from her, we'd do it. And it worked. When it worked, it was great.
That's fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
So quarter pounder with cheese.
Yeah.
The secret to weight gain and getting out
Senora
of school.
I don't know where she's at right now, but God bless you, girl.
You know, you said that Wendy's was kind of throwing some shade on Twitter, and you said that Wendy's is very much known for throwing shade on Twitter, which I didn't know.
Chill on Twitter. If you are a Twitter user, go to Wendy's main page. They clap back at customers. They clap back at other businesses. And right now, their whole thing with McDonald's is, oh, yeah, you guys are doing this whole frozen thing. You're just starting this out. And their whole thing is we've been doing this for years.
That's exactly
this is totally fine.
When the person told me that they were doing this, I was like Wendy's?
Yeah,
Wendy's,
that's
exactly
Wendy's
what I
is
said.
bro, we've been doing this the entire time. I don't know. Y'all are just catching up, kind of thing. And don't get me wrong, I love a Wendy's hamburger, but I'm there's a very distinct difference between McDonald's and Wendy's. And, at the end of the day, they both sell burgers, but they're very vastly different. But Wendy's has zero chill. Okay, so
do you know some other examples off of the top of your head?
Not off the top of my head. Mainly, the beef is mainly between them and McDonald's.
So has McDonald's been responding?
Yes.
Oh,
but they've been going back and forth.
Okay.
But Wendy's is clearly
So Wendy's is the redheaded stepchild,
yes.
obviously.
And
Wendy is redheaded.
Have an attitude, and it's amazing.
And then McDonald's is very corporate and not.
They're really just trying to be oh, well, we're progressing as a company and we're doing this, that, and the third. And Wendy's is girl, look, your food is trash. Everything's the matter with you. They list off everything wrong with McDonald's down to their ice cream machine's not working. Wendy's
it's
comes
kind
at
of true.
McDonald's from
It
all
never
angles.
works.
No, yeah, Wendy's is not here to play with McDonald's, and it's kind of amazing. It's a strategy that's working for them, I think.
Okay, that's good to know. So you just got back from Houston, and you wanted to mention about how you feel like Lafayette needs Korean barbecue.
Yeah. So if you remember the last time I was on the show, we were talking about the oversaturation of sushi restaurants. And to me, if some of these restaurants do notice that oversaturation as well, they should move into Korean barbecues. We paid $26 for ours, and it was all you could eat meat, and then it came with sides and everything. Like I was telling
you. And so you cook it yourself.
Yeah, you cook it yourself. So you sit at a table, and there's a grill in the middle, and different places have a different style. Some of them do these round grills with open flames, and then this one was a kind of a griddle situation with the flames under it, and it was kind of warmer on the outsides, and then as you move the meat closer inside, it was cooler, and that's where the slits were to drip the fat from the meat. And it was great. It was really, really good. The fire alarm went off while we were in there because apparently it got a little
that sounds
smoky.
good.
So we had this super loud blaring horn for half of our meal, but it wasn't that bad. And like I said, I feel like people in Lafayette would absolutely love that. I mean, how many pawpaws love to be out grilling anyway? So this is just grilling while you're sitting. And they bring everything to you except for the sides. So
that should be the motto of the restaurant if it comes to Lafayette, grilling while you're sitting.
Exactly.
And on that note, we're going to take our final break. And when we come back, we have more with Terry. So come back to us. It is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
And now, the Lafayette Food Junkie Show, served up medium rare every Sunday night.
Welcome back to the Lafayette Food Junkie Show on News Talk 96.5 KPEL. I'm your host, Tiffany Deku, and we've been talking with Terry Dugas tonight. During the break, we were talking about being hangry, and I have been getting hangry a lot lately. And I'll just be in the worst mood ever. And I'm I don't understand. And then I'll eat something and I'm fine. And everything is rainbows and unicorns. So
food is happiness.
That's so, what that means. And we're going to talk about that in just a second. But you want to give a shout out to this place called the Kolache Kitchen in Baton Rouge.
I do. And if anybody is near Baton Rouge, in Baton Rouge, going to Baton Rouge this week, I've been eating Kolache Kitchen for years now, but I just want to point out they're right off of LSU's campus, right there, not too far down from Walk-Ons, and I think that's the Bridgeway Hotel or something like that, right there. They're very near campus. And I just want everybody, if you know somebody that works there, if you know somebody who's associated with it at all, tell them that they need one in Lafayette. Like, people in Lafayette love kolache.
So what makes Kolache Kitchen so special?
Well, they have just so many different kinds. Like, they've got sweet kolaches and savory kolaches. They have boudin kolaches, and they have a bacon kolache that nowhere in Lafayette has. Name me a place in Lafayette that has a bacon kolache.
I don't know one.
And this one has like piles of bacon. I think it has cheese in it too, if I'm not mistaken.
So they load it in.
And they load it in. It is like, when you bite into it, there's like layers of bacon and this like beautiful bread on the outside. And I don't understand why we don't have one. We're prime for it. I'm like, or meshes. Meshes, if you're listening. If
make a bacon kolache.
Make a bacon kolache. I'll stop complaining. But, and they only do kolache. So it's not like they're like impeding on Ricky Mesh's donut empire,
So on the drive over here, I was listening to a station out of Baton Rouge, and they were saying, like, Baton Rouge has the best everything. And they were like, crawfish, boudin. And then I was like, no.
Slow your roll. Calm down.
I was like, you're mistaken.
Calm down, Baton Rouge.
I don't associate boudin with Baton Rouge. I was like, Scott, Lafayette, Broussard,
exactly.
Evangeline Parish.
No disrespect to Baton Rouge.
Vermilion Parish.
Slow your roll. Pump the brakes.
Not Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
Nope, sorry.
They're great. They've got some good
I
things
wouldn't
going
even
on
associate crawfish there.
Exactly. But no, they've got some great things.
I forgot what else he said too. He may have said gumbo. He may have said gumbo, crawfish.
We're not going to have
because it was all very like Cajun things. And I don't associate Cajun with Baton Rouge at all. That's LSU country. Yeah. That is not Cajun country.
Exactly. So God bless them, but we're not.
But apparently they have amazing kolaches in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, they do. So, shout out to Kolache Kitchen. They're doing great.
Okay, so I want to take a little bit, a minute to kind of talk about two of my loves right now. So I've been doing the Lafayette Food Junkie stuff for, oh my God, I think 7 years now. It's insane. And it started out as a blog, it became a radio show, had a weekly column in the Times of Acadiana, and then now I'm also doing a weekly segment on KADN. So food is very much a part of my life, and I've learned so much about food. I've learned so much about cooking doing this. Well, I decided this past year to go back to grad school. I do have my bachelor's degree in psychology, and I've been out of school for a hot minute. We'll just say I graduated in 2004, and I just turned 37 this week. So just to kind of do some math. Been out of school for a while, decided this past year that I was going to go back to grad school, and I wanted to get a degree in counseling, and I had kind of wanted to delve into the world of sex therapy. That was of interest to me, and that's kind of where I was kind of going with it. And starting my semester, January, was my first semester in school, and I'm only taking a class a semester, so I will literally be in school until the day I die, probably. I'll probably like take my last breath, and they'll be like, you passed your licensing, congratulations. So went in with it becoming a sex therapy. Struggled a lot with how the food aspect of my life was going to factor into a sex therapy part of my life, which we're not going to go into too many details. We're going to kind of keep this as PG as possible, but there is a relation with sex and food, but we'll just say that. We're not going to go into a lot of detail on that. But I kind of struggled where these two worlds would kind of combine and meet. Through the course of my class, we had to do discussion posts every week on different themes that we were learning in class. And it was a human development class, and it was mainly on psychosocial theory. So basically the different psychosocial crises that people were developing at the different stages of human development. And I found week after week that a lot of my psychological posts correlated to food. And I was talking so much about food, like how it relates, to what was going on in people's lives. And when we got into the middle adulthood section of human development, which FYI, that's the segment that I'm in, and I'm having a really hard time dealing with that I'm in middle adulthood.
Hitting a little too close to home.
Because it's literally from age 34 to 60. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like at the age where people are potentially grandparents, and I haven't even had like my first child yet. So it's I'm having my own little psychosocial crisis.
Yeah.
But one of the psychosocial crisis in middle adulthood is generativity versus stagnation. And generativity is the mark that you're leaving on the next generation. And so for that discussion post that week, we had to kind of come up with a scenario about how someone was, in this section. And immediately what came to my mind was a grandmother teaching her grandchildren a family recipe. And in that instance, they were staying alive. They would stay alive because they're teaching them that recipe. Yeah. And that's when it kind of clicked that food and psychology kind of go hand in hand. And two of the themes of counseling is wellness and resiliency. And food encompasses both of those things. Wellness with, the food that you put in your body. If it's good food, you're going to feel better and be well. Yeah. And then resiliency is your ability to bounce back after something happens. And the instances that I gave for that correlating with food were that if you've had a really bad day at work and you come home, you pour a glass of wine and you cook a meal, and it's like that's your stress relief and that's your relaxation. Or if you've had a really bad bout of depression where you haven't been able to get out of the bed and you've cooked that first meal for yourself as the ability to be able to bounce back. Mm-hmm. And then also, some things that go along with depression or self-confidence issues, the ability to cook a meal yourself is good for your self-confidence. So there's a lot of like layering themes with that. And I started thinking about the idea of cooking as a form of therapy, which it is. It's very therapeutic in a lot of ways for a lot of people. And so I kind of, at the end of this class, have decided that I'm not going to be pursuing the sex therapy thing. I'm going to stick with the mental health counseling, of which I am in. That's what I'm getting my master's in. But I'm wanting to incorporate cooking as a form of therapy and as how I will be treating patients. Yeah. And there's a lot of things that I want to do with that. Everything from like eating disorders, and then also, developing some kind of program for people in the culinary world, because there's an epidemic of mental health crisis in the culinary world. And, it'd be a nice opportunity to do something with that. So that's kind of where I'm going with that. And on upcoming shows, as I go through my coursework, I may kind of talk about the theme of psychology and food a little bit, because I think it's really interesting. Yeah, and it's interesting. Some people might think it's cool, but if you're bored, I'm sorry. But I'm geeking out right now because my two worlds are combining, and it's seeming to fit, and it just feels right.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's going to be really interesting to see kind of how those correlations play out, and how you take different areas of food. I mean, because this show covers all different areas of food. I mean, we've gone everywhere from, local barbecue places to Taco Bell today. So it's, right. I think that, your studies are really going to reflect that as well, that variation. So,
Terry, thank you so much for joining tonight. It is always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me again.
All right. That's our show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Join us next week, Sunday at 6 p.m. This is Tiffany Deku on News Talk 96.5 KPEL, and this is the Lafayette Food Junkie Show. Thanks for listening. And as always, happy eating, Acadiana.